Now let's look at a practical example of torque and using the torque equation. So this is going to be an example where we have a wrench with a length of 22 centimeters, and we're going to apply a load or force of 55 newtons onto the end of its handle. And we want to know what is the torque on the nut as a result of this force applied at this distance. So some assumptions that we're making is that this distance that we're measuring is from the center of the nut to the point that we apply our force. So let's say the point we're applying our force is right on the end of this handle here. That is 22 centimeters from the center of the nut. And for those of you who do not remember the torque equation, it's a pretty simple one. It is that torque is equal to the force multiplied by distance. So in this case, our torque is going to be a force, which is 55 newtons, 55 newtons, multiplied by the distance, which is 22 centimeters. Times 22 centimeters. So our torque is 55 newtons times 22 centimeters. Multiplying these two numbers together, we get 1,210, and the units Newton centimeters. So that's going to be our answer. 1,210 Newton centimeters. So this is a good way to leave off the question, but before I end the video, I just want to look at some other ways that we can write this answer. Say we want to write it in Newton meters. Well, how do we go from centimeters to meters? Well, there are, in one meter, there are 100 centimeters, right? So if we want our 1,210 Newton centimeters converted to meters, we have to divide out our centimeters. And looking at this ratio, there is 1 meter per 100 centimeters. So this is going to be what we multiply our answer by. And I'm going to write that out more neatly so that we can read it. 1 meter per 100 centimeters. It's going to be a multiplication. So torque is equal to, and this is essentially just dividing this number by 100. So 2 decimal places backwards because we have 2 zeros. And that is going to give us an answer of 12.1 Newton meters. That's another way to write the exact same number. Now what happens if we want to write it in Newton millimeters? Well, in 1 meter is the same as 1,000 millimeters. And if we want our units to be Newton millimeters, we're going to have to write 12.1 Newton meters, and we want to replace the meters with millimeters. So we're going to divide out meters. And it's 1,000 millimeters per 1 meter, which is the same as writing it like this. 1,000 millimeters per 1 meter as a multiplication. So that's going to be moving this decimal back 1, 2, 3 places. So the torque is equal to, and 2 zeros, 2 zeros. So 12,100 Newton millimeters. And that is 3 ways to write our answer. All these 3 values are the exact same. It's just 3 different units to write our answer. That's going to be all for this video. If you have any questions, just leave them in the comments. I'll be happy to answer them.